Hey everyone, I'm Darshna Patel, Energy Intuitive Reiki Master and host of Enlighten Up. Welcome to Season 3. I'm so excited to be back with you. It's been a little bit of time because, wow, we've been going through some stuff in these past months, right? As we're cultivating our inner strength through the disintegration of an old paradigm of civilization. So we're going to jump right into getting into the essence. Getting to the essence is really the theme of Season 3, because here's what I believe we're called to do now, is to literally dissipate what no longer serves us and to be accountable for our energy to the core. So we're getting to the essence of who we are, because we're standing up a new civilization. So I'm just going to start lucid channeling here, and whatever comes through, I've got some notes that I was guided to bring with me, and here we go. So get this, guys. In 2020, we're really going to start standing up a new civilization. Like, no joke, right? You're seeing the disintegration probably in your own life and also on the global scale right now. And this is by design. We're going through a major cosmic cycle now of letting go of an old paradigm, the disintegration. Look at all the ION words. You know, I'm working on this model called ionation, which is a model to help us now relate to the essence of the form of this 3D reality that we're living in. Remember, everything is simply vibration. Vibrate ion. Ion is a charge of energy, a charge of light. So as we start looking at the vocabulary that's all around us with all these ION words, it's giving us clues to how we're working with this etheric energy, the essence, the vibrational aspect that creates our 3D reality. So when we talk about changing the structures and pillars of society, we can look at it from a vibrational aspect and now be an active participant in how to stand up this new civilization. So let me back up and let's paint a vision of what life could look like here on Earth. And for some of you that are joining me for the first time, you might be thinking, what in the world? So just join me with this, because I think it's important for us to now be accountable for the vision that we want to create for ourselves and the planet. So how about this? What if the vision for civilization was one where we would have a civilization that's designed to nurture individual and collective actualization, to unleash creative and innovative potential for the conscious and compassionate evolution of humanity? What if the vision of a new civilization were one in which it was designed to nurture individual and collective actualization, to unleash our unique creative and innovative potential for the conscious and compassionate evolution of humanity? And you may say that's too ideologic. It's too rose-colored glasses. But then, you know, when we step back and say, how come we can't have a thriving civilization? Why can't we have a thriving civilization? And whatever comes up in terms of the beliefs of why that can't be is exactly what I believe is our individual accountability to push through, in terms of letting go of those beliefs that we can't have a society with peace and equanimity, and knowing how to engage conflict in a constructive way, and knowing how to love ourselves and others with non-judgment, and knowing how to change the systems and structures of society without force, but through intention and compassion and constructive conflict, in a way where conflict becomes the harmonization of diverse perspectives. So what I'm inviting is a new lens of how we can operate individually and collectively to stand up a brand new civilization. And that's what 2020 is about. 2020 is about perfect vision. Imagine if each of us could really just step into our full divine potential, that authentic alignment when you know your soul is singing your song. Because we each have a unique vibrational frequency. Just as every snowflake is unique, each of us are designed to be a unique expression of that core resonance, that core vibration that is Source. So, to stand up a new civilization, imagine that civilization was a machine, right? Or an organism. Think of it as maybe an organic organism. And a system is not simply a sum of its parts, but it's the sum of its parts' interactions. So here's the proposition. A system is a sum of its parts' interactions. So to change a system, focus beyond the parts to the energy of the interactions. So what's actually moving through this organism or organization of civilization is some essence, some energy, right? That's fueling the parts. And the parts are also vibration too. So it's all in essence. It's all in energy. It's all a vibrational paradigm. So to change the system, we can focus on the energy, the interact ions, the ions themselves, the essence of what we're perceiving as reality. So this dimension of vibration, vibrate ion, this dimension, dimmense ion, look at the etymology of all these words. This dimension of vibration, which is information, in, form, at, ion, right? There's ion and union, union. Look at the words. I mean, it's just magical, union. So information in format ion is simply a configuration of energy, which is then being passed through the system or the organism or organization, organized at ion, which is civilization. So imagine if we're focusing on the information flow through civilization, and in that essence, we have the power to revolutionize the world. So all form is expressed essence. Everything we see as 3D reality is simply expressed essence. So if we change the essence, we change the form. If we change the essence, we change the form. So what's happening right now is that we're awakening to this vibrational field of energy. And I know many of you who tune in to the programs on the Lighter Side Network are typically empathic, intuitive, or you're going through this massive awakening right now and you're wondering what's happening. And so what we're awakening to is the power of the vibrational field itself, this intelligent field of energy, which is nothing but the essence of source vibration. It's information in form at ion. It's a divine, intelligent, orchestrated energy that is now evolving to a new level of consciousness. And so we're ready to stand up a civilization that mirrors this awakening that we're going through, to invite this civilization that encourages and nurtures our individual self-expression. Because what's important about that is as we each awaken to our unique resonance, that divine expression that makes each of us uniquely us, we come together in new ways. Imagine each of us is like a cell in a body. If every cell were healthy in a body, the body itself, civilization, would be thriving. There would be a sense of vitality. So when these individual parts, each of us, are harmonized, when we're in our full essence, we then come together in very healthy ways, where there's more collaboration versus competition, where we know how each of us play in our unique ways, where we harmonize and we work together to be progressively self-actualized. And that is what I perceive as utopia. And it's totally possible. And anytime for me, I think that it's not possible, I have to stand back and go, why is it not? What in me feels that that is not possible. And then owning whatever limit at ion that I have around that progressive realization of utopia on Earth. In the next 7 years, you'll see some massive transformations transform in ion, massive transformations sweeping across our civilization as we're allowing every solution that's already out there to come to the surface and to bring about this new reality that's just right there. It's already right below the surface. And now, if we get out of the way and if we allow the possibilities to emerge, all the pieces will start coming together in magical ways. I promise you, the divine intelligence is at work. And I guarantee you're seeing it in your own life. If you step back, you'll start seeing the synchronizations, the synchronicities, synchronize at ion. When you're singing your song, when you're in your vibrational essence, you see the magic happen. You might be thinking a word and then all of a sudden you hear it on a song. Or you might be reading something and someone says the words that you're reading. It's almost instantaneous when we're in our full essence. And we'll be talking about alignment and clarity in another episode. When we're in our pure resonance, we are inviting that synchronization to be right there. It's as if the timelines collapse because we know time doesn't exist, right? It's simply a holographic vibrational reality that we're swimming in. And now, as you realize, the mind is nothing but a point of attention in that field, that web of energy. So it starts getting really trippy now when you start feeling those synchronicities. It's as if your resonance is then inviting through the quantum entanglement that emergent experience to show up right then and there. So it's an amazing time of evolution. So I'm being guided to read something that I wrote a couple weeks back that talks about what's happening in terms of our evolution. So it's time for each of us to go off script. Isn't that what evolution is? A positive mutation. If you look at the etymology of mutation, it comes from Latin and it's to change. So we're changing the essence, the ion, mutation. Notice the ION word. So we're changing the essence of the energy. A positive mutation is what's happening. Many of you are feeling the physical changes that are happening right now at the level of DNA. It's been written about for ages that this is a time of major awakening and cleanup of our DNA now to be more expressed in terms of our full potential and capacity. So there's a positive mutation underway coming from an infinitely intelligent divine impulse. The most profound evolutionary change we can make is the simple recognition, recognition. Cognate is to know. So how we know the light, the simple recognition or recognition of the inherent vibrational interconnection of all creation. If everything is vibration, we're swimming in a sea of energy. And therefore, we know through quantum entanglement that everything is interconnected. So when we just kind of dissolve into that vibrational field, recognizing that everything is interconnected, there becomes a sense of flow, a sense of ease, a sense of dissolving, dissolution. As we relinquish this individual identity, the self that we're grasping onto, and allowing that to melt away into this inner connection that holds us all together. So it's celebrating the individuation within the context of this inner connection. So the major, most profound evolutionary change we can make is the simple recognition of the inherent vibrational interconnection of all of creation. In this vibrationally aligned awareness, we are each the clear channel of divine intelligence. So let me read that again. In this vibrationally aligned awareness, that awakening that everything is simply vibration, just an essence behind the form, in that knowing, we are each a clear channel. So, we talk about all of us are, we're these meat bodies that are animated by some life force, that essence that's behind the animation of this physical vessel. So if we're each aware of that vibrational essence of who we are, we become the clear channel of our purest and highest vibration in that moment, which is progressively evolving as we relinquish more and more of how we know the energy, how we know the light, the cognition. So there's a never-ending expansion that we can experience as we melt into this vibrational knowing. So in this vibrationally aligned awareness, we are each the clear channel of divine intelligence, whose masterfully artful and sacredly witty hand may playfully orchestrate our fullest divine expression and natural unfolding of our collective evolution. So that's what's up, is that we're reawakening to this vibrational essence of who we really are and what reality really is simply this source vibration that has then created distortions. Distort ion, there's the source vibration that has then fractaled out, if you imagine, to be a distinct thing, a distinct ion, distinction from that source vibration. There must be this contrast for there to be anything in creation. So everything is going from a spectrum of essence to form, essence to form, essence to informat ion, information. So in the system of civilization, it's simply this sweeping ebb and flow of information. So taking a moment and just kind of inventorying your life. Imagine everything is just a configuration of energy, a configuration of light. What feels good in your space? If everything is vibration, what feels harmonically in balance with you? What is resonant, the resonance? Everything is sound, everything is energy. What is in resonance with what feels good to you? And in contrast, what is dissonance? What is dissonant in your life? Dissonance that doesn't feel good. What is harmonically out of balance with what feels nurturing, what feels revitalizing, what feels uplifting to you? And this is the accountability portion of what we're moving into as we're standing up this new paradigm, is becoming accountable for our own energy and for the energy, the information that is all around us. Okay, so the tense ion that we feel in our day-to-day lives is helping stir up emotion, emitting the ion. There's a charge of energy that gets emitted when our core resonance is not in alignment with the information or the cognition. The thought process in that moment is literally emitting a charge of energy to say this is uplifting, we feel positive emotion, or this is diminishing your light in some way. It's dissonant information. So we have a negative emotion, right? We know that emotions are the GPS system, our internal GPS system. What is it a GPS for? For our internal resonance, that purest frequency of who we are as unique, divine impulses of energy off that source vibration. So as we're moving back into this reawakening that everything is source vibration on a spectrum of essence to form, it begins to help us navigate our day-to-day life from a place of, I would say, more peacefulness, more gracefulness, more ease. And with that is a greater sense of accountability to each moment, inventory, how we're feeling. What are we surrounded by? What are we doing with this energy moment to moment? So, in getting to the essence in this season, we're going to explore some different aspects of how we move about in this vibrational field. And as we're expanding to this next level, this next octave of consciousness, how do we then masterfully architect life as individuals and now as a collective to really celebrate and stand up a beautiful civilization where we are each peaceful within our own hearts, where we build communities that are based on equanimity, that are based on the celebration of each unique spark of divine intelligence, where we harmonize diversity and not judge when there's thinking different than ours, because every thought is still and every belief is still an extension of source vibration. So when we celebrate what's not working simply falls out of our emergent reality. So each of us then begin to come together as a collective, and we simply sift and sort out what we no longer want in our reality. We don't have to judge it. We just simply allow it to fade out of our reality, because attention is what creates more of what we want. So pay attention in your life to what's working, what feels good, and focus more on that, and you'll notice more of it in your life. So as we're closing out, there's a couple of things just to be aware of that I would invite you to do in your day-to-day life is to recognize your vibrational environment. Inventory your home life. What feels resonant? What feels dissonant? And what can you do to kind of restructure things to feel better in your day-to-day, in your daily habits and the music you listen to? If you've got the news on and it feels like noise, turn it off, turn it down. So be accountable now for all the energy that you're surrounding yourself with. Bring beauty, bring the elements to your life. And then notice all the ION words that you're using in your day-to-day world as you're just going through life. Create the space of reflection, reflect ion. So as you're reflecting on your day-to-day, it's almost kind of like, we're in operations mode, but then step back and notice what you're feeling, what you're thinking, because that is shaping your perception in that moment. Perception is the union of cognition and emotion. We'll talk more about that in another episode, but perception is the union of cognition, and then it's charged with emotion, and then your perception is shaped by that cognitive pattern in your energy field, which is then imprinted with that emotion, and based on the strength of that emotion, it's obscuring your view to reality, so it's distorting your peacefulness in some way. So now's the time to start noticing moment to moment how you feel, what you're thinking, and it's almost zooming out to get a sense of how you're operating, so that now we can be conscious co-creators moment to moment. So notice how the ION words show up in your thinking and your speaking, and just become an observer, the observation. Observe at ion. Take the seat of observation and just notice everything is simply a divine arrangement of light, and just see what that opens up for you. So that's the homework for episode 1. I'm so glad you joined me. I know I probably skipped around a lot, but that's what I was guided to do, was to plant the seeds of this vibrational awareness and this awakening that we're going through, because in this next phase of humanity, we can literally stand up a new civilization by shifting our thinking, by owning our emotions, and being accountable for being that resonance that makes us each uniquely a divine expression of this amazing infinite intelligence. So with that, my friends, thanks again for tuning in, and remember, raise the vibe.